All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Lovely to see you all again. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state. So however you normally do that, by using your word or phrase or your anchor, or by homing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Very good. And start to feel your heart opening, your chest expanding. Good job. And allow that light or energy to shine out from you. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Fill each one with that love, that light, that energy, loving each cell just for existing, no matter what. Very, very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Loving that child just for existing, no matter what. And then allowing that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood. Everything, everyone, every circumstance, every event, shining that light into any darkness. Feeling your power as you do that, as that light shines out from you. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today. Everyone who's off camera, everyone who's on camera. Loving each one just for existing. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes and let's check in with each person. And so, Lisa, how are you today?
Oh, fine. How are you?
Good.
It's TR Tuesday already.
Yay.
Yeah, so I've been reading this book, of course. So I love saying, look how much I love myself. And then I find myself waking up saying how grateful and look how much I love myself. One thing that I've been doing lately is sending love to the ancestors, because
Nice.
a lot of this is not our program. So that's what I've been doing. That's been helping a lot.
Good job. Very good idea. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Excellent idea. I love that.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Lisa. That was excellent sharing. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Lovely, sweetie. All right, and Chris. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. And oh, that was so good, Lisa. Sending love to the ancestors. I've written a little something. It's only 2 minutes long. Can I read it?
Of course, yes.
Because it's all about the ancestors, because you're spot on. And I was just thinking again about what Katrina was saying. So this is for Katrina and me. It starts with, my mummy and daddy had the most amazing, gentle, kind, considerate, thoughtful, intelligent, and respectful and adoring parents.
Nice.
And the way they nurtured and cared for my mother and father meant that my mother and father became empowered, responsible adults, taking ownership of their choices and decisions, feelings and emotions. So today we would call them emotionally and spiritually intelligent people. My mummy and daddy's parents adored and respected them so much, they always dropped anything that they were doing and stopped and focused on my mummy and daddy, listening to whatever my mother or father had to say. And then they would take great care to respond with love and consideration to what my mummy and daddy needed to tell them. And they would always consult and invite my mummy and daddy's views and opinions in family discussions and decisions and debates. My mummy and daddy were always asked, what do you think? We love hearing your views and insights. They are so fresh and so perceptive, and you see the world with new eyes and clear vision. We value this so much. So because of this, my mummy and daddy brought me up in this way, and I always knew I was loved, adored, respected, listened to, and held with regard. Their love for me was at all times unconditional. And this is how I nurtured and loved and cared for my own most beloved and darling children. I've got 4 generations in there.
Chris, that is absolutely fantastic. I love that. And do you know, as you were reading it, I thought, oh my goodness, can you imagine bedtime stories like that?
I know, yeah.
And so now I'm thinking, I know Lisa illustrates and creates her own books. She's a writer, and her own books. And now I'm wondering about a collaboration of some kind or something like that to create books that are bedtime stories for adults. Bedtime stories for adults, rewriting your childhood exactly the way you've just read it, what you've just read, Chris, that kind of thing, with illustrations that are beautiful and loving and kind and wonderful, the ideal childhood. And I'm very excited about this. I think that would be an amazing resource for people. So bedtime stories for adults with new childhood and audio. So then, because Chris, the way you read that was so beautiful, and you've got such a lovely voice for it. I mean, I can imagine having an audio book, listening to you reading that for the person to have for themselves. What does everyone think of that? I think that would be amazing. So anyway, just an idea.
Well, let's hear from Lisa. We'll contact one another.
What do you think of that, Lisa? Let's unmute you.
Oh, very beautiful. I enjoyed it very much because that's something that I've been working on with the ancestors. So
very good.
There's this, I guess, this alignment, and for the next 2 weeks till the 16th, that we pray to the ancestors and bless them and send them love, and we expect the love back, kind of thing, you know, because how we're just recycling.
Very good. The one thing I would change there a little bit, or just adjust a little bit, is rather than expecting the love back, I would love them anyway, whether they send love back or not. And of course, we know it will, but it's that feeling of loving you anyway, whether you send love back or not. Perhaps that would be even more empowering.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Chris. Fantastic.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course. Of course.
So, occasionally, not too often, but it sort of comes in patches, I still hear myself saying, oh, I should have done that. I should have gone that way. Or, oh, I should really have done that. So this shoulds and the oughts, I don't do the oughts too much. But anyway, if that's a coin, what do you feel is on the other side? I've got some ideas.
I've got something that I help with my sister with. I sent it to her, and then I've used it myself as well, because my sister, quite a few years ago, when she was very stressed and she was having anxiety and everything, and she said something, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and I said, you don't should anything. And so that became like a catchphrase for us. And so when I caught myself saying, oh, I should have done this, or should, and then I'd stop and I'd say out loud to myself, I don't should anything. And so you could get something like that for yourself, where it's just a correction, it's a reminder and a correction for yourself. Yeah. And then, of course, use the allowing as well, where allow that I should. A feeling of I should, the feeling of I shouldn't, the feeling of I shouldn't should, whatever's there, whatever's there, use the allowing technique and see where that takes you, because of course there will be references for it as well.
Yeah.
And ask the question, how do I know I should?
Oh yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
How do I know I should, or how do I know I shouldn't?
Whichever's come up.
Oh, whichever one. Oh yeah.
Whichever one you've said. So if you say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, well, how do I know I shouldn't have? Or I should have done that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Good point, Steve.
Thank you.
Terrific. All right, Chris.
Lovely. Thank you.
Good job. You're very welcome, sweetie. All right. And Swasti, good afternoon to you, Swasti.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. So, it was my birthday yesterday. So,
happy birthday for yesterday.
thank you. So something happened. Well, a good thing, and then something that kind of like a reference thing. So friends from like 2-3 years ago, who we kind of had like a lot of drama and things. So we left on bad terms basically. They wished me happy birthday, and like they didn't talk to me in these 2-3 years like at all, not even a hi, how are you? And then I remembered that we did this week here of sending love to someone random, and that's what I was doing to them. And then I thought, whoa.
Fantastic. Look at you go. How wonderful. Good job.
Yeah, it was really good. But from that came something that it was like I felt like it was not enough. So like my normal friends, some of them forgot. Okay. But some of like the old ones did remember. And then I felt this like it was not enough. And that's how I felt with like the grades when I got them afterwards. I thought, oh, I wish I'd gotten one more A star. I wish I got perfect grades.
Good one. Very good one. So let's look at that feeling of it's not enough. Mm-hmm. Can you feel it now?
Yeah, it's not as strong as like some of the other ones, but it's there, yeah.
Okay, so let's think about, I want you to think about the happy birthdays that you got and the ones that you didn't get, and how that feels.
Yeah, I feel that.
You got it. Good job, sweetie. Okay, so I want you to just feel that feeling of it's not enough, and whatever brought up that feeling, and then notice it as a sensation in your body. Where in your body do you feel it?
It's like waves of tingling in the ankles.
Good, very good. So notice it and home in. So put the meaning aside now and home in on the sensations themselves. So the waves, the feeling, the heaviness in your ankles, whatever's there, just home in on that and just allow it to be there. It's just a sensation, doesn't mean anything. No judgment. We don't need to stop. You got it?
Yeah, and then it shifts to the knees.
Good. So allow it to be in your knees. Just allowing it to be there. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a sensation. There's no judgment, and we don't need it to change or go away. You got that?
Yeah, and then we go away.
It goes away. All right. Very, very good. So now let's look at that feeling of not enough. So you get something, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So whatever that feeling is, where in your childhood did you feel the same feeling? And of course, maybe a completely different subject.
I think, I don't know if this is coming from the subconscious, but just my siblings being born. So feeling like I'm not enough.
Perfect. Yes. Very, 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 very good. Good job. So your siblings being born, and that makes perfect sense. And that's base instinct. You know, if we're not the only one, then we may not survive, because whatever resources there are and protection there is now split between others, and we may not get enough. So that's perfect, especially if that you know, as the eldest one, we weren't given that reassurance and we didn't get enough affection, attention, security, and that kind of thing. So that's perfect. So what's your earliest memory of feeling anything about your siblings being there? If you have one. If you don't have one, it's okay.
Well, I don't think this is the same thing, but what comes up now is the same thing that we discussed before. It was like my sister being born and then saying it's only a girl on the phone.
Perfect. Yes. I'm not enough. It's not enough to have a girl, to be a girl. You need to be a boy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll never be enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever you get a baby, a perfectly healthy, beautiful baby, but it's not enough because it's not a girl, not a boy, or whatever that is. So that definitely revisit those new memories that you created around, you know, the fact that it's celebrating that it's a girl and all of that, and put extra references in there. See if there's anything left from the idea that it's just a girl. All of that. Make sure that you create more support there for it's a girl. How wonderful.
Okay.
And a great celebration. All right, number one. And then number two, create some memories from when you were, create a new timeline of you being the only one. So create a new timeline of it was only ever you, and your parents completely doted on you. So I don't know if you've come across this before, but, you know, I've known several couples who have one child and they are completely doting on that child. All right. And people think, oh, the child is spoiled, and at that point, you want to be that child. All right.
Yeah.
That's for everybody. Create a new timeline where you are that child, where your parents, you can't do a thing wrong, and they're completely indulgent and completely dote on you, because that's what every child instinctively needs.
Okay.
All right. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good. So do I need to change any references of like my sister being adored more than me, or create a new one?
Absolutely. So here's the thing you could do, and so you're going to do where you're the only child. Now you may want to do stepping stones where you have your siblings, you have your sister in that, but you are the one who gets all the attention.
Okay.
All right. So the siblings are there and they're okay, but you're the favorite. You're the one that gets all the attention. You come first. So, you know, you can even create memories of, you know, everybody's there and they're talking, whatever, and you walk in the room or you start talking and your parents go, yes, and their focus is completely on you. In addition to however they treated your sister compared to you, of course, switch that over as well. So
but
that
you'll keep her there.
Yes, as a stepping stone. But you also want to create, or maybe not even a stepping stone, just a different data. You also want to create a timeline where you are the only one. So those are separate pieces of data.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's new to this, anyone who's watching the recording and that, you can do that because your subconscious doesn't have the ability to use logic or reason. So your subconscious is not going to go, but if I was an only child, who are they? Or I can't have both. You can absolutely have both. Your subconscious won't question it. Only your conscious mind can use that logic.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, because sometimes I do. I don't like the contradiction of having siblings versus being the only child. But yeah, that makes sense.
Just separate pieces of data, separate references, so you can have all of the above.
Okay, thank you.
Right. You're very welcome. Good job, Swasti. Very good. Good catch there.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetie. All right. And Sadia. Hi, Sadia. How are you today?
Hi. I'm doing great, actually.
Good.
So, I've been practicing Rammer methods, but the allowing technique. And Steve suggested something to me that really worked, actually. It's when you feel that you have resistance, is kind of you are offering hospitality. Like, and I've been practicing that when I feel like there are negative thoughts that are coming. Like, I would say, like, have a seat, and I would just be here.
I love that.
Yeah. So each time I would notice, I would just do that, and it worked really well. And even now, I noticed that I'm kind of I started to develop like some automatic methods. For example, when I feel like confusion and all this kind of thing, like you've got the best of both worlds. So it's like
Nice.
been working. Yeah.
I love that. And I hadn't, because that came when you had a personal session with Steve, right? So I actually haven't heard that one. So that's lovely to hear. That's a great idea, Steve. So just to recap for those who are watching, it's offering hospitality to whatever comes up. So if you have resistance to something, offering hospitality to that resistance and saying, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. I love that. Very good. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Sadia, for sharing that.
You may want to, especially if the resistance is coming up often, like you're noticing it, that it's showing up on a daily basis. I in my head, this sort of happened organically or spontaneously. I just gave it a name. So I noticed that I had the same feeling about my resistance as I had about this great uncle who would show up at family gatherings. He would show up and he was a widower and he was kind of disheveled and always mismatched clothes, and he didn't smell good, and he talked way too much, and he was just kind of a nut to be around. And I just imagined my mom and dad, they would invite him in, and he would have his spot in the corner, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's just that kind of thing. So when the resistance shows up, I'm going, oh, here's Lawrence today. and Lawrence can have his spot in the corner. It's like, it's okay.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, and what's I found extremely wonderful about that is that once you allow it to be here, because like Sid suggested, okay, do it, have a sit, and then while you're there, okay, you're there, but and then keep breathing, you keep doing your things and all of this kind of thing, and then after that, after you've been doing that, it's like you check up, is it still there? You don't know, like it's still like it's still not there, it's not there, so you don't know. So yeah, there is power in allowing and hospitality. So it's
How wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also believe that what you just said, there's power in that. Those people who have power can offer the hospitality. If we feel like we're powerless, then the resistance or whatever the negative feelings are, they show up and we don't have a choice. They're going to be here whether we want them or not. Offering hospitality is a position of empowerment, not victimhood.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then Odile also shared a video that is on the YouTube channel about the focus, and for me this has been the major breakthrough. Like, we cannot control things that are coming, but we always have the power to control like where we put our focus. So it's whatever we're feeling, whatever we want to focus, is up to us. We cannot control things, but we always have the power to control where we put our focus. So this thing, like I wrote this thing, so for me, it is really working. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for the feedback. We so appreciate, because we know that, this work is helping a lot of people, but we don't always hear about it. So it's just so lovely to hear when somebody shares that. So thank you, Sadia. That's really, really wonderful to hear. And well done you for using it.
Thank you. Well, and yeah. So I actually had a question.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about asking Steve during sessions, but I don't know if probably other people would have the same question. So I thought maybe it might be good to ask it here. It's about the do justice later.
Yes.
Well, during the process of working with childhood memories, well, you suggest usually to do justice and start with, parents. But the thing is, I feel like I have some kind of, I would not call it resistance, but there's a part of me that, okay, that would be great to do it. But there's a part of me that say, okay, do not dig in that, just forgive them. They did with the background they had and all this kind of thing. And, what do you need to do justice later for? So I was wondering, would you suggest to always do it, even sometimes we feel like we do not, or when should we, first, should we always do it, or when should we do it?
Right, good question, Sadia, and thank you for asking it here rather than waiting for your one-to-one session, because you're right, it will help others as well, because others will have this this kind of question as well. So it will depend on the person, but the one thing I would ask is, what are you worried about? So you say there's a part of you that says don't dig there. What do you think is going to happen if you dig there? What's the concern?
Well, I feel there's a part of me that is only concerned about forgiving and about the past to stay there.
Right.
And well, you suggested, but yeah, like I have memories that, that are painful sometimes painful, like the situation was at the time, but it feels like, okay, if I would go there and dig into all the things, like, allow this little Sadia to talk, so it would bring a lot of things to the surface that I do not want to bring. So forgiving seems like easier. So
okay, very, very good. So this is great. This is such a great thing to bring up. So here's what I want to say. If you and I'm figuring out which analogy to use, but I think the best one that I use often for the due justice is that if you have a wound, like you have an injury, you have a wound, and you've put the dressing over it, you've put bandage over it, and perhaps some medication or whatever to heal it. Now, if that wound is infected, the stuff from your childhood, the anger, the resentment, the pain, all of that is inside you. It doesn't go away. So when you think, well, I'll just forgiving or positive thinking, or thinking, well, I learned a lot, whatever those positive attitudes are, that's like putting the bandage on. But if the wound is infected, it's not going to heal. That infection is going to stay there, and it's going to grow until it comes out in some other way. You get sick, or your arm it spreads, or whatever happens. So you want to make sure that so taking that bandage off to clean that infection can be unpleasant. It can be like, oh, I don't want to do that, I'll just leave the bandage on. But you know that long term, that's not a good idea, and it's going to get worse. So you want to take that bandage off, and you want to make it as pleasant and easy for yourself as you can. So by that, I mean, make sure that you've got something to look forward to afterwards. So you've got some comedy to watch, or a nice movie or music or something. Look forward to something. And we get something to drink, like if for those who you can have a glass of wine or something, or a cup of coffee, or a cool drink, whatever you like, while you're doing it. So you make it as pleasant for yourself as possible, but you're going to need to do it. So you take off the bandage, you do what it takes to clean out that wound. And once that's cleaned, then you can put the forgiveness bandage on, because then the wound will heal, because it doesn't have that haha stuff in it. South African term. So you want to clean out that wound. So it's understanding that forgiving doesn't get rid of the pain and the anger and the resentment. it just covers it up. Does that help to clarify?
Yeah, it sounds cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And of course, for anyone else watching, so I know, Sadia, because you're getting the one-to-one session, so if you're worried that it might be too much, then I would wait until your session with Steve, and then let him take you there to that memory to make sure that you're okay on your own with going to those places. For anyone else who is addressing trauma of any kind, highly recommend not doing that on your own. So you can book a free consultation call with Steve to talk through options for working one-to-one if you want to. All right, so well done, Sadia. And I'm excited for you because I know that you will experience a transformation having written, after writing those letters, one or however many you're going to write. And it'll be easier then to move forward. It'll be easier to forgive. It'll be easier to be positive and move forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, well done, you. Very good.
Actually, it's not a question, but it's something I wanted to it's just encouraging people to do it. Like I thought about sending a message to you to say like how much value I'm getting from that, but I thought many people might be interested about it. Like it's the newsletter from your website. The daily emails I'm receiving from you, they are just so awesome. So like I love how practical they are. You know, it's not all about marketing and align with what you are teaching. So it's kind of a bonus tip to practice like, you know, on a daily basis. So yeah, so I wanted to say how amazing this is, and I would definitely encourage everybody to subscribe to this newsletter. You won't regret it, seriously.
Thank you so much, Sadia. That is wonderful to hear. And so for anyone who's watching the recording or who's on here who hasn't signed up to our newsletter that Sadia is talking about, if you go to our website, you'll see a little thing on there that says free starter pack. And if you click on that, you can fill in your details and then you'll get those emails that Sadia has referred to.
Yeah, I'm expecting them daily.
Oh, lovely. I'm so happy to hear that. I had such a wonderful time writing them. I felt it was such a lovely feeling writing them as well. So thank you, Sadia. You are such a pleasure to have with us. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, and then I believe there's a question from Ilja. Let's see, Ilja, I've unmuted you.
Hi.
Hey, Ilja, how are you today?
Well, I have a question in line with what Sadia is talking about with the do justice. I've written a lot of do justice letters, and but recently sometimes I just notice that I need to do a do justice letter. I don't feel like doing it. It's too exhausting to do. So instead of writing it, I started recording it. So I just took my phone and I just vomited it all out onto a recorder. And then I listened to it. And when I just record it, you can really use your voice to express everything that is just what you need to express. And it works for me because afterwards, sometimes I just feel so tired and I need to take a rest, just like with writing the letter. But am I missing something by not writing it? Or is it just as powerful by just recording it and just letting it all out?
Very good question, Ilja. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I know that we have recommended in the little ebook and that you write it because it's a different part of your brain you use when you write, but we've not actually thought about recording it before, and no one else that I remember has brought that up. And I love that idea. And my answer would be, I think it's going to depend on the person. And if you find that that's working for you, then absolutely continue doing it. And the same for anyone else, give it a go and see, if you find you're resistant to writing, try doing what Ilja is suggesting, record it into your phone and then listen back to it. And I think that...
Oh, and of course I do delete it as well, just like the letter.
Good. Yes, perfect. Exactly. That is wonderful. And I think that what's going to make the difference is going to be how you feel afterwards. If you feel like that little you has had a chance to get it out, and make sure as you're saying it, that you're speaking to those people, of course. That this is not like you're telling someone else about it. This is you are letting that person have it as if you're speaking to them on the phone.
Well, actually, I just imagine everyone will do it their own way. And it's not a replacement of writing it, but I noticed that writing was I was just too tired to do it. And then it just becomes oh, I'm not doing it. And I know I need to do it. So I recorded it and I just imagined them in front of me.
Perfect.
And then I just let it out. And then oftentimes I just say, when I just say whatever I need to say, and I feel like, am I missing something? I just ask the little me, do you need to say anything as well? I just say it out loud. And I don't know, I just tend to be creative with it.
Ilja, that is brilliant. I love that. Great idea. And yes, as you say, imagining them in the room is so much the better. And I love that idea of asking the little you, do you have anything else to say? That is just fabulous. Well,
and if there are people that are also very or resistant to writing it, because I know in the beginning it was very you need to just put yourself to it to do it, and sometimes just writing can be a hurdle. I don't know if you say. So if recording just takes you to do it anyway, then I would say just play with it. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say, is that, like you've said, rather record it instead of writing it than not do it.
Yes.
So that is just brilliant. Thank you so much. And then, a person may find, well, I want to write as well. That's also okay. But yeah, the important thing is to actually get it done. So well done, Ilja. Goed zo.
Dankjewel.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ilja, for sharing that, sweetie. All right, and anybody else with oh, sorry, have I muted you on too early?
No. There was just a problem with muting, but now I'm going to mute myself.
All right, and any other questions?
I don't think that there are any other questions in the chat. So I think unless anybody else has any other questions or comments, I think we're good to go. Oh,
I want to read this little comment out because it's really sweet. So Lisa has said, I agree. Oops, jumped. I agree, Sadia. The transformation I have experienced is so valuable and learned so much from everyone on these calls. The Remit method is one of the most powerful tools for such an empowered life. Thank you, Lisa. That's lovely to hear. Good job. All right, so let's go into the targeting. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state using your word or phrase or your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Good job. Start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest, as that light, that energy, your power shines out from you. Very good. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. Feel that power as you do this. Allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing, no matter what. And imagine each of your cells filled with that light shining out from each one. And each of those cells loves you unconditionally. Feel that connection, that love between you. Very good. And allow that light, that energy, that love to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you or doesn't have the qualities you love and admire. And keep them filled with that light, that energy, that love anyway. Very good job. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. Good job. And now to Sadia. Fill Sadia with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sadia just for existing. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill her partner's elderly father-in-law who's in hospital. Fill him with that same light, that energy, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Chris's father-in-law just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And now to Ilja. Fill Ilja with that same light, that energy, that love, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Ilja just for existing. Very, very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. And Swasti, you're very sweet. Thank you for the addition of the target. Swasti has asked if we can target our rental properties in England and the challenges we're having with them. So allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill our rental properties in England and everything to do with them, no matter what happens. Love it all anyway, shining that light into any darkness, loving everyone and everything involved. And thank you, Swasti, that's so sweet of you. And now to Sylvie. Fill Sylvie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sylvie just for existing. Very, very good. And now to all those who are off camera today and everyone watching the recording, fill each of those people with the same light, this energy, From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love each one just for existing. Very, very good. And now to yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, feeling, or experiencing, love that version of you. Imagine filling that version of you with the same light, this energy from the tips of your toes to the top of your head and out to your fingertips. Loving that version of you no matter what, exactly as you are. Very, very good. And now allowing that light, that energy to fill a target. So pick a target in your life or in the world and fill that target with the same light, this energy, shining this light into any darkness and loving it exactly as it is. Very, very good. Good job, everybody. And surge. Good. And surge again. Very good. Good job. You can open your eyes. And any questions or comments before we finish for today? We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, of course. And of course, do share our videos when you can with anyone you feel might benefit. We want to reach as many people as possible. All right, everybody, you have a fantastic, you're very welcome, all of you. And have a fantastic rest of your day, and we see you tomorrow. We love each one of you. Goodbye.